Ghost Fleet, a novel of the next World War. Positive book reviews. About the author. P.W. Singer is an expert on 21st-century warfare. His award-winning nonfiction books include the New York Times bestseller Wired for War. August Cole is a writer and analyst specializing in national security issues, and a former defense industry reporter for The Wall Street Journal. Product details. Hardcover, 416 pages. Publisher, Eamon Dolan, Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, 1st edition, June 30, 2015. Language, English. ISBN 10-0544142845. ISBN 13-978-0544142848. Product dimensions, 6 by 1.4 by 9 inches. Shipping weight, 1.4 pounds. Reviewer number 1, Michael. A cybersecurity thesis paper written as a fictional story. There are two aspects to this book. 1. Fictional story, 3 or 4 out of 5 stars. The storyline is well thought out, flows well, and has mostly good character development whom you can identify with. It is fast-paced with short sections alternating between character, event groups. I would recommend it just from an entertainment aspect alone. 2. Fact-based cybersecurity warning, 5 out of 5 stars. The book is riddled with real-life factual references like a thesis paper on the potential dangers if the US doesn't get serious about cybersecurity. We are already in the first stages of a cyber war with China and other nation-states, and this book highlights what it could easily lead to. Even if the fictional aspect is not the genre one likes, politicians, military leaders, government agencies, and business leaders should read this as if it were a validated white paper that outlines the risks that they should seek to mitigate now. When so many fictional, cyber, or hacking stories can be rather corny, e.g., CSI Cyber, this one is first-rate with its storyline, writing, and informative insights. Reviewer number 2, Reader. Believable scenarios throughout, if a few too many scene breaks. Good novel. The believability of all of the scenarios presented is unnerving. If this is the first fiction work by the authors, it shows tremendous talent. Another review commented on the Game of Thrones-style chapters, structure. If there is any place this book could have been stronger, it is that it contains far too much material to be compressed into a single novel. In other words, this felt to me like something that had superb series potential, but because all of the involved parties wanted a one-off, it's a standalone novel. It reads like it was edited to a fine point to keep it right at that 400-page sweet spot. As others have commented, the chapters can be short, and almost all of them have an end-of-chapter hook to keep you interested. That's pretty standard for genre writing. Gotta keep the reader vested. But where somebody like GRRM or Ken Liu give you longer chapters to get you more vested in the characters, the chapters in Ghost Fleet clip off before you can really care about the people involved. Military enthusiasts and strategic thinkers will probably love it. Yes, it's got that Tom Clancy vibe so many, including myself, love. Great concepts to debate after work hours. Heck, during work hours. But the science fiction reader may be left feeling like they wanted a bit more in terms of characterization, plot, setting. I hope the next work by the authors takes its time a bit more and develops characters the reader is fully vested in. If their next story needs a trilogy worth of content, then I think they should take the time to let their story breathe and become what it wants to become. Ghost Fleet felt like it wanted to sprout wings and become an epic saga, but its wings got clipped before it left the runway. That being said, awesome book. Reviewer number 3, Ricardo Marquez. Ghost Fleet, a front-row seat on a popcorn thrill ride. In the immortal words of Seinfeld's J. Peterman, Ghost Fleet is one ripping good yarn. The authors have produced a worthy successor to Tom Clancy's Red Storm Rising. The authors expertly provided a full-course meal for a variety of readers, a sobering extrapolation of extant geopolitical trends, realistic portrayals of hypothetical battles, ironic depictions of the choices American service members would face, and a comprehensive inventory of current and projected technologies used successfully and unsuccessfully. Take heed, DoD weapons buyers. Ghost Fleet's authors readily acknowledge the debt to Tom Clancy's Red Storm Rising. To this end, consider the following 2 points. First, Clancy was simply a former insurance salesman with an affinity for military hardware and simply imagined how these fascinating weapons systems might be used. Ghost Fleet's authors, Dr. Peter W. Singer, a widely respected defense futurist, and August Cole, a seasoned journalist who covered the defense arena, do Clancy one better, by footnoting extensively throughout the book. At every mention of a military hardware or technology, Singer and Cole direct you to source material where the reader can learn how close to reality the author's story is. As well as intriguing theoretical proposals like the next lightweight fighter, not your grandfather's combat aircraft. Second, Red Storm Rising previewed the American reliance on stealth aircraft and precision weapon technology in the Persian Gulf War. Ghost Fleet, given its ample references, may similarly be providing a preview of a future conflict's cyber, space, and robotic aspects. In Ghost Fleet, a reader is given a front-row seat on a popcorn thrill ride keyed to the contemporary challenges American decision-makers and service members face every day. Labor Day is coming up and Ghost Fleet is a choice read for the holiday. Reviewer number 4, SAW. Terminal Diplomacy. Unfortunate that diplomacy fails and military might is the last resort between opposing nations. But Ghost Fleet is a work of fiction, albeit based on fact. I enjoyed the fast-paced perspectives, bouncing the reader's mental view from multiple locations and multiple combat scenarios. I found it difficult to put the book down, not wanting the final chapter to come. Could it really come to two first-world nations joining forces to defeat a superpower? Maybe. Reviewer number 5, S. Osborne. Ghost Fleet is about a near-future World War III. The Chinese and Russians attack the United States using sophisticated digital technology as well as more conventional weaponry. The venues are primarily Hawaii, the North Pacific Ocean, and near-Earth space. The story is told as a series of brief vignettes rather than chapters. Characters moving through vignettes occasionally get a little confusing, but it doesn't complicate the story, which is almost continuous action. It's the kind of book that is hard to stop once you start reading. The story takes place near enough in the future that none of the weapons or technologies are unbelievable. The reader can easily imagine scenarios playing out just as depicted. Something that is becoming less common these days is good editing. Ghost Fleet is pleasantly well edited. If you like believable science fiction and can tolerate the graphic violence of war, Ghost Fleet is recommended. Reviewer number 6, Donald P. Irwin. Plausible scenario for techno-military thriller. This book posits a credible scenario of a non-nuclear military confrontation between the major power blocks in the world at some indeterminate but near time. Don't read it for subtle geopolitical analysis, assume, as required, that normal political and diplomatic methods of diffusing conflict have failed, but do follow it for a highly detailed, well-articulated and credible course of military events that could ensue on land, sea and air, and in space. The book suggests a couple of notions: the inherent vulnerability of interconnected computer systems, and the enduring importance of naval forces as the bedrock means of projection of military strength in non-nuclear warfare. Clearly and entertainingly written, fast-paced, and absorbing. Much more digestible than the same message packaged for an article in Foreign Affairs. Reviewer number 7, C. Townsend. Glimpse of the Future. I really enjoyed this book. I started it at the beginning of a 12-hour flight and had to keep reading in the taxi after I landed. The book is a great story with memorable characters. There is an emotional heart to the story that underlies the action-packed battle scenes. The future battle space is so well imagined. The mixture of traditional hard power assets, tech wizards from the civilian sector, and even venture capitalists really felt like a natural American response to invasion. Soldiers and Marines left stranded in occupied territory turned to insurgent tactics. Reliant on systems pulled from mothballs, America faces down China in a nail-biting conclusion that left me hoping these guys write another book soon. The epilogue is a tidy wrap-up of the survivors with a nod towards the reality of the psychological struggle of warriors after the bullets stop. The footnote system felt mostly unnecessary. Many of the references didn't add any value to the book and felt like an effort by the authors to show how hard they worked researching. I loved the book and believe anyone with an interest in future wars would benefit from reading the book. Reviewer number 8, Cigar Smoker. This is a great read, one that should waken the US to the China threat. This is a novel, but one that will keep you awake nights. Is China planting weaponized chips in all of our devices? Is the US military using Chinese chips in our weapons systems that could be controlled by the Chinese military? I understand US military planners have been briefed by the authors. Could the Chinese shut down our electrical grids? Our telecommunications? Having recently read the history of the lead-up to the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, I wonder if it could happen again. Read this book and you will wonder as well. But if you want to sleep soundly, do not. Reviewer number 9, Willie Thornley. Plausible and well written. I normally don't like the political intrigue type of books, but this one doesn't get into that drama too much. Not overly detailed with love triangles and subterfuge. Good prose from the author. Details are pulled from real technology. Few liberties are taken, and that helps this book be great. The author did her work when writing this one. If you like war stories, this is a good one. Reviewer number 10, ACL. Great read, wish the serial killer portion wasn't included, but I understand why Mr. Singer did it. As a military professional, this book is spot on as a predictor of future threats that are out there. A wake-up call, and highly recommended as a vehicle to open the eyes of military members that may not enjoy reading, studying, to future concepts. Read the description area below this video to get the order link of this book.